Yeah.
My God.
So I'm like opening this really nice bottle of wine. We went to Napa and got this nice bottle of wine.
It was a real nice bottle for that.
For a special occasion, Popped the cork. She goes, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I said, "Well,
I'm begging for
celebrating.
Nervous at this point,
I'm
I
begging for
imagine.
forgiveness.
we're celebrating. Here, have a glass of wine, honey.
Welcome to the official podcast of Foodies of Lafayette, where flavor meets community. A huge thanks to our chef table sponsor, Ounce of Hope. You can learn more at ounceofhope.com. Let's join our hosts, Heidi McDonald and Jason Stoner.
Hey y'all, welcome to the new Foodies of Lafayette podcast. I'm Heidi McDonald, founder of Foodies of Lafayette, here with my partner in crime, Jason Stoner, and we've also got with us today Tim Metcalf.
Welcome, Tim.
You probably know him from Dinos, Prejean, Marcello's. He's got his hands in a whole lot of different things. We've got a lot of things to get into today, but before we do that, we want to say thank you to Sundays for having us. It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sundays.
Thank you to Ounce of Hope, Colin. Thank you for believing us and helping us to provide an ounce of hope to our area. All the background info, too. And
Absolutely.
Special thanks to Seth, too, with Logic HVAC. If you need anything with commercial refrigeration, he can help you out. Seth's a really good guy. So
he helps Tim
thanks,
out.
Seth.
He does.
Yeah.
He does it all. He fixes fryers. He fixes air conditioners. He fixes coolers, freezers. If you're in the business, give him a call. He can
All
do it
the things.
One call
Absolutely.
does it all. So.
Good
Absolutely.
deal.
Thank you, Seth.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us today, Tim.
Absolutely.
I know you're a busy guy.
I try to stay
and
busy.
We definitely
I've slowed
appreciate
down
it.
a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like you slowing down more than a little bit here lately. Why don't you tell us about that? What happened?
So about 4 weeks ago, I was on safari in Africa.
Oh.
And we were in a swamp off of the Limpopo River hunting crocodiles. It was my bow and arrow, and I wounded a croc, and we needed to finish him off. And we got out in the swamp and got a real close call of getting eaten by crocodiles. It got a little dicey. I ended up finishing the croc off, but in the mayhem happening that day, I tore my quad tendon on my left leg, a complete tear. It's a big bobo, probably the most painful injury I've had. And,
I'll say,
yeah.
goodness gracious.
But-
Well, hopefully they got you stitched back together.
They stitched back together. We're 4 weeks post-op Friday, a couple days, and I feel good. I'm
How
on
long?
the mend.
How long is left?
How long did I?
4 weeks? Is
Four,
left?
4 weeks is when I can start rehabbing heavily. Been rehabbing since the 3 days afterward. But I'll be off crutches for the Poirier fight, which is the 19th. That's my goal.
Oh, there we go.
I
I'll
bet
still
you
have the
were
brace
so
on,
ready.
but I need to be off the crutches
I
because
bet you're so ready for
I
that.
am so ready. Crutches are
Slowing you down a little too much.
Well, I did wear a shirt today for you.
I see that.
You battling a crocodile.
Look, it was close. It wasn't quite there, but it was
Parachute
close.
has this over there if you want to grab one.
I might
That's
go
you.
across the street and
yeah,
grab one.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Super cute stuff over there. Well, Tim, tell us a little bit. I know Dinos is probably the thing that everybody knows you most for.
Right.
So if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about the history of Dinos.
Oh, it's a great history.
Y'all are fourth generation now, right?
We're fourth generation. 4 generations, all still alive, all still in the business. So
When did that start?
just doesn't happen.
What year?
Well, we opened here in '71, but Dad was in Santa Barbara, California. So background on my dad, Korean War veteran, Idaho potato farmer.
Wow.
Never saw any state till he went to war. Came back and I don't want to be a potato farmer anymore. So moved to California, doing different things, and started to janitor in a Me and Ed's pizza franchise. He goes, never ate pizza before in his life. Fell in love with pizza. Opened up Dinos pizzas. He had 4 of them. Santa Barbara, Lompoc, North LA, and Santa Maria.
Wow.
4 units.
Right.
But him being a war veteran, Vietnam was just kind of going on, and the epicenter of the anti-war protesters and everything happening in that area, he couldn't live with himself. So the spitting on the veterans, he just found so distasteful. He was about to lose his mind. So he took a trip to Lafayette, Louisiana. Actually went to the Rice Festival in Crowley.
From California?
From California, yeah.
Okay.
Foffy Gielan, his dad was the mayor of Crowley, the Gielan family. And they treated my dad as VIP. He stayed in Lafayette because Crowley's so small, and he's like, wow, this is a growing town. I think I'm going to move here.
Good
You know.
spot.
You
Good
know
place to be.
when they talk about the Doge people with the big balls?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Dino. That's Dino. He's like,
Okay.
I got 4 successful restaurants. Let's go. Packed us up in a station wagon. We drove across country. Right? It took us like 3 weeks because we hit almost every state.
Oh, my
All the
God.
How
stuff
old were you?
Had all the flags. I was 10. I turned 11.
Oh, my goodness.
I turned 11. So that was like,
Oh, wow.
that was like April of 72.
Oh, so you got some
April
humidity for your
72.
birthday. I bet
Yeah.
you were really appreciative.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, we ended up here, and I was the youngest of 4 siblings, so I adopted the fastest. I wasn't, the older ones were in that hippie culture, and they were shocked, come to
Oh, it's a
Louisiana.
whole
I bet.
nother
Yeah,
world.
it's a little different. Yeah.
So it was a lot of culture shock, but it was those were pizzeria days. So you didn't open lunches, you opened dinners, like 5 to midnight, and then
Oh,
5
wow.
to 2 a.m. on the weekends. Long hours, because I was at 13.
Oh, you were back in the
I was
kitchen
working
then.
at 13, so we had a little Formette, and Dad had an old F-150 Ford with a 3 on the tree. It would have farm plates on it, so I could drive and go bust tables at Dinos, and then maybe stop at the Strip on the way home.
Oh, wow.
And
We won't talk out about that
So,
one.
what was the game like in town? I mean, did you have Elise's at that point?
Elise's Pizza Inn opened right after us, and then Pizza Village opened right after that.
Oh, wow.
Because they left Jut.
So that was
So,
the
but-
first
but
4
pizza-
pizza
Yeah.
restaurants in Lafayette.
Pizza Village had the Elise's probably the king, right? They were the king because they were there on Johnson. We had to pass, living on Ridge Road, we passed Elise's every time we went to the restaurant. I'm like, man, one day, man.
So you
I
lived
watch them
off,
throwing the dough, and I'm like, oh,
you
man.
lived off Ridge.
Yeah.
I lived
Oh,
there
y'all were
today.
neighbors.
Yeah, we were
Practically
neighbors.
neighbors.
For sure, yeah. Grew up Ridge Road, went to Judy's Elementary, and then Acadiana High. So,
Wow.
yeah. So, yeah, it's been a journey. And then,
Well, there was a lot of things that happened at Dino's, too.
lot.
Didn't you meet your beautiful bride there?
yeah, I did. I met my bride there. My son met his bride there.
Oh, my gosh,
Oh,
really?
yeah.
Oh,
so
I didn't
many,
know that
so
part.
Many.
So Jay needs to hang out at Dino's.
Yeah.
I guess so.
So my dad's first manager was not Bob Walker, Jerry Trump, and he met his wife there. They
Oh,
got
come
married.
on.
Wow.
They had children. The children came to work for me. They had twins,
Stop.
Patrick and Brian. There are 3 other siblings, Patrick and Brian. Brian met his wife there.
So Dino's is the original Match.com.
Exactly. 100%. We have so many.
All right, Jay,
we have
that is the place to
we
be.
have so many romances from the restaurant. So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
it is.
That's
And
amazing.
the
What a
way
great
the restaurants
history.
changed, like Dad had it was pizzas, a little green salad, draft beer, and soft drinks.
What type of pizzas back then? Was it Cajun style?
No.
Or Was it
was just your cookie cutter, pepperoni, sausage. It was a pizzeria, right? Just
Yeah.
like the Pizza Hut. We weren't any different. We just thought we would get it a little better. But
So when did you bring in the
it was
Cajun
different.
flair?
So that's the '80s. So when the Lafayette died overnight,
right.
you remember those
right.
days? It just literally our town died overnight, and I was like, oh.
If you're the last one, turn the lights
Yeah,
off.
That's right.
Exactly. And my dad was like, I might be done here. And we had a family meeting. I'm like, me and my bride said, hey, let us take the reins. Let us take the reins. We did a structured buyout. And we were hand drawing menus all night. Her and I laid off the whole crew. I'm working on every shop, I'm working 120 hours a week.
Oh my gosh.
Just trying to make every pizza myself. And then I'm starting to bring in Cajun seafood. So the first thing, we brought in some sausages and boiled shrimp. But the first cooking, we started cooking toppings, which nobody was doing, right? So we cooked crawfish a la Dino. So it was a crawfish. I tried to make like an etouffee and put it on a pizza. This ought to be good. And first no one wanted to eat it. We were like,
Yeah.
That's not a pizza.
right.
So we took it to every festival, any place I could go, guerrilla marketing, and put it in someone's hand.
I just love the creativity.
Right. And now,
It's hard to get started.
heck,
though.
look at now.
Yeah.
So Carlos not just one seafood
For
king.
the seafood, yeah.
Carlos and I graduated high school together.
Did you really?
We did.
We
Oh,
did.
what a small world.
Carlos, I would like to think his pizza was a butter poached shrimp pizza. My pizza mother did shrimp with shrimp scampi.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I just think maybe I inspired Carlos a little bit. I don't know. So I've been making pizzas longer than him, I'll tell you that. But he does a fantastic job, and he just knocked it out of the park and won. He's going to
Yeah.
national competition. So that's how far pizzas come from
Absolutely.
pepperoni pizza to
Well,
what
and
we're
it's not
putting out
just
now.
pizza that y'all have, too. I love
No.
that so much. Honestly, I'm not really a pizza person. Now, my husband, he's the pizza guy. Loves it. Absolutely loves it. Me, I could kind of take it or leave it. Now, where you sold me, was the pizza burger. I mean, let's just start with how crazy is that to begin with? A burger with pizza instead of buns. It doesn't even sound like something I'd be excited about. I can't get enough of it. It's so good.
I know. It's one of those things. Truthfully, I created, but someone sent me a picture. I'm like, oh, yeah. Hold my beer. I can do that.
Oh, yeah.
So I pushed it out, but I was taking the weekend off. I just put a picture up, hey, coming soon or something, and then the phone starts ringing. And my guy's like, what are we doing here? I'm like, So we didn't have the SOPs down.
Yeah.
I kind of played with it. I made a couple for some friends, and they started taking pictures. They were bragging, and I'm like, so I was off that weekend. I came right back on to work, and we knocked out. It was smashing success,
Well, and recently, didn't y'all do a chicken sandwich with ice cream on it? I mean, what? I didn't get to try one. I hadn't had it yet.
I didn't either.
It was just an LTO. It was just stuff that we didn't sell a lot of them, and I knew we wouldn't. But it was something that everybody in town was talking about, right?
Well,
so sometimes you just do something to make noise.
The wow factor.
Well, it's such a great idea. I mean,
Yeah.
I love the creativity.
And again,
it's
it was
something different. Let's try something new and different.
We actually went to an Austin festival, and a guy was doing one. He did buttermilk ice cream. He was making himself. He went over the top with it, and everybody was either eating it or talking about it. So I'm like, that idea is coming home with me,
Yeah.
And then we pushed it out. It was just fried chicken with Nani's hot lava sauce and vanilla ice cream. And the first reaction is like, oh! I'm
something
telling
different.
you.
Yeah.
You want one? Give me a little notice. I'll make you one.
All right.
You can eat it next podcast. I'm telling you, it
Now, was that your brainchild?
So
was
much
that
better.
Yours?
Yeah.
Right.
So much better. So I mean, stiff competition now. My son pushes me. Like, he's really good. Now the grandson's coming along. He made the 4th generation pizza. Yeah. So me and my son, we get a little. We not throw hands or anything, but it's
friendly
like
competition.
a rivalry. And he actually did a chicken sandwich. We do a throwdown. So we have monthly managers meetings. We go over the numbers. We forecast the next 6 weeks what's going on, all the holidays, how we prepare for them, special occasions. If there's any internal changes we need to make. We don't like to make a lot of rules, but if we're going to change a rule, it happens at that meeting so everybody knows.
Yeah.
So we try to
Good
run discipline
communication.
like that, but we have a throwdown. So what's going to be our LTO? So we're doing a chicken sandwich, and his probably people liked his a little better, but again, it's not a democracy; it's a theocracy. And I was like, nah, mine won.
I like mine more.
Mine won, and he was so mad. And I'm like, Greg, I'm not looking. We're not trying to make the menu. You can't just keep adding to the menu. Our menu's huge already.
It is.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
becomes overwhelming.
And you just can't keep adding to it because then you can't get the
Yeah.
food out. I said, I just want something to make noise, and mine's just going to punches all the boxes. It's going to make more noise.
I tell you what, though, I really do love how many directions that y'all go with that menu, because it's not your typical restaurant fare. It's not your typical pizza restaurant fare.
Right.
So, if we're going after a ball game or something, I don't get to pick the foodie place. I've got to pick where everybody else wants to go or whatever. And it gives me an opportunity to have something that I want to try too. I love that you do that. And bringing in other local people too. Like we've got, you see here.
Yeah, what do we have, by the way?
We got here the Knockouts, the special right now. Tell us a little bit about that.
Started today, so yeah.
Yeah, it's so
I'm
good.
gonna try it.
Yeah.
Either way, man.
So
I'm
what's
sorry,
on
Big
here?
Boy hasn't eaten.
So it's chicken sausage we make. We've got a pecan smoked bacon. We've got cream cheese. We've got Nani's pepper jelly. It's good. I'm good. I just have. It's so good.
Fat boys
So
gotta eat.
actually, this was for one of Dustin's fights. The pizza.
Yeah.
It all
that
goes
is
back.
good.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a chicken embroche, right? With the cream cheese and the bacon and the.
Excuse me.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we were going with it in our thought.
Yeah.
We try to mimic maybe another food or. But yeah, it's really good. We do it every July.
good.
Just so happens Dustin's fight's on the 19th of this month, and maybe it's a prelude to what's going to happen.
Yes,
I'm hoping
absolutely.
so.
Knockout. Get him, Dustin.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah.
So, we've been talking a lot about Dinos, but you've got a lot of other projects going on too.
But hold on, I got a question about Dinos.
Okay.
Hold on.
Sorry, don't want to get ahead of myself.
It's still very much a family affair.
very much.
Okay.
100%.
Are they concentrated at your original location, or are they at Cali Saloon or in Henderson?
So Dino's OG Bertrand is like our central office because we have we bought the whole building. It's a huge building. We have a large office. It's actually the center of Lafayette too. So I can be if I need to be at South in 15 minutes, I can be there. If I need to Prejean's 15, 20 minutes, I can be pretty much anywhere. It's the central hub. So I end up spending most of my days there. Now, as far as who's right now, South, we were the OG. We produced the most revenue.
Okay.
South's kicking my butt right now. My son's not letting me forget about it. So, which is fine. I don't care.
Is he South? Is he more South?
He's the general manager. He's the South.
Oh, so there's competition.
I'm like overseeing. I have a general manager, but there's competition. There's big competition. So, and but it's all good competition because both restaurants are actually rising in sales, and we like to think like you said, Heidi, because our varied menu, and we don't put items on that. Like I need a burger, so let me buy a pre-made patty from Cisco, and I'm going to put a burger on the menu. So that burger was 6 months in development, just the patty. We hand make that patty. We mince onions, garlic, Worcestershire, eggs. We put that all into that patty, knead it, and then teach the staff how to make it. So things like the bun meat ratio, I'm picky about my burger. If I first bite, and I don't have that right ratio of bun to meat.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, when you go to the plate and half the bun's left on the things like so. Think the little things. So we try to add a menu item, but just not to add it. The wings. That was 8 months in development to find the right wing I wanted to cook.
Right now.
I know,
right? So it all had to work. We had the cook time, how we're going to season them before or after. You season wings before, it ruins your oil. It breaks it down. Salt will break down your oil. Are you going to change your oil more often? Does it matter? Do you season them after? Just the little things.
I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I just knew I wasn't going to go with a pre-cooked wing.
Right.
So I like a fresh wing. I'm a wing snob. If your wings come out in 2 minutes from a restaurant, they weren't.
Yeah. Telltale sign, huh?
It's a telltale sign.
Okay, all right.
They're pre-cooked.
Something to look for.
Do you pizza oven those wings?
No, they're straight in the fryer.
Straight in the fryer. Okay. Now, your grandson, how old is he?
21. He'll be 22 not long.
So he's coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
there will be a time when his dad and him are competing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Are they there already?
We're grooming him to be a GM right now. And then, of course, there's no restaurant for him to be GM at. So that means, I've got to develop another restaurant. So.
Well, speaking of other restaurants, I'm going to go there for just a second because I got questions.
Yeah, you go.
I got questions.
Okay.
I feel like being from here, the thing that I know you best for is Dinos, obviously. Right. But you do have a lot of other projects going on. And one of those more recent projects has been Prejean's. Right. I'm going to tell on myself a little bit. I actually learned to make gumbo, so cute little shirt, y'all.
Okay.
Very chic. I do make my own roux.
Okay.
I learned how to make my own roux.
That's an art.
In the kitchen at Prejean's. In high school, in Karen Crow, everybody worked at Prejean's, and so I would go visit my friends and kind of hang out.
In the gumbo room?
Yeah, probably wasn't supposed to be back there, but it's been 20 years, so nobody will get in trouble now, I don't think.
So you learned from the master, James Graham?
Yeah. It was pretty great getting to watch him make all of that.
Right.
And so, I feel like I had a unique experience in getting to know Prejean's as a local.
Right.
And then there was some years in there where it kind of became more touristy.
100%.
And part of that, I feel like, is because it's so close to the interstate. That's going to happen. It's easy access.
Where are the Texans going to stop?
You got to have somewhere to go, right?
Well, but in the early years, Bob the previous owner, marketed hard for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Him and Frank Randall, they used to fight over tour buses.
Yeah,
It was a big deal, Yeah. But
I know it's good. It's great for that.
Of course. There's always a place for that, right?
But I think for a long time, a lot of locals maybe discounted Prejean's as being a tourist trap. And the truth is, it's not really that. And I feel like you've kind of done a lot since you've been there to bring in a chef and get some different recipes going, different menu items, a heavier focus on some nicer bourbons and things in the bar area.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we opened it with the mindset. We bought it during COVID, in the middle
Yeah.
of COVID. So
Brave.
buying
Oh
the
my
thing
gosh.
was, there's a whole story behind me buying it. I thought I was being brought in to talk to Bob Gilbo about evaluating his company as a consultant in the business. So I gave him a rough evaluation, and then he looks at me and goes, "Oh, we're close in our negotiations." And I'm like, "Wait a second."
Oh.
The one who speaks first in negotiations usually loses. So I'm like, "Damn, I said it too high." You know? So we came to terms, and for me to beat his number, he had to play bank. I couldn't go to the bank and borrow this much money and then
Yeah.
pay him where he needed to be, but if he needed to get there. So he took a shared risk with me, and it's paid off. But we knew going into the tourists were great until there were no more tourists.
Right. I mean,
And that was
COVID shut
It's a
down a
wide
lot of
awakening,
things.
Like, yeah,
It's-
and the tourists, are they even coming back?
Right.
It's a big unknown. So we're like, we got to build this for the locals, and Karen Crow really needs an identity, and Prejean should be that identity. So we targeted for the locals. We kept the very best of what we deemed was James's dishes, and then we brought in some of the stuff we knew, and we brought some chefs in and let them bring their stuff in.
Yeah.
So, and then we just kind of changing it, morphing it as the community. A lot of feedback. I brought Ken Boudreaux in. Everybody knows Ken Boudreaux.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that Southside guy trying to make money on the North. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of animosity. We're all Cajuns. We get along. Food transcends everything,
Yeah.
but still, that face. And Ken loves it, man. He's in the restaurant. He's talking to people. If you don't know Ken, go by and see him. He's great. Like I said, everybody knows him. It's been a blessing, well received. We do Jazz Fest every year through Prejean, which nobody from Acadiana does Jazz Fest except
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And
Which it's amazing if you think about it, because I mean I might be a little bit biased, but I feel like we
got the
are
best food.
we're the hub city. We have the
Exactly.
best food.
Right.
We are the
Right.
culinary epicenter to me.
and I'm advocating. It's like the Jazz Fest people, they're hard to deal with. First of all, the New Orleans,
Yeah.
a little bit difficult to deal
A
with.
little bit
but
different.
I tiptoe around like, hey, can I bring some other? I got some cool friends in the business, man. Hey,
Yeah.
we can bring this. Or I got another concept. You don't have any pizza here, you know? And they're like, nope.
I hadn't even thought of that.
Nope,
Really?
one's enough. You get one, and that's all
Okay.
you get. I'm like, all right, cool.
But you invested quite a bit in that renovation.
We did. But, we did a lot on our own, too, though, because it was COVID. And so the way it worked was as soon as COVID hit, we remodeled South during COVID. We're like,
Yeah.
if I can't have the dining room, we remodel it. Then we turned around and remodeled Bertrand. So we had crews, we had handymen, and they didn't have a lot of work. And they were eager to work. They liked working with us. So I'm like, so I bought
great
Prejean's on a
timing for
Wednesday.
everybody.
I bought it. We closed the deal on a Wednesday afternoon. I went home. I never told my beautiful bride I bought it.
Tim! Oh my God!
So I'm like opening this really nice bottle of wine. We had went to Napa and got this
Oh,
nice
I hope
bottle
it
of
was
wine.
a real nice bottle for
For a
that.
special occasion, Pop the cork. She goes, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I said, "Well,
I'm
I
begging
was
for
Still a little
celebrating.
nervous at this point,
I'm
I
begging for
imagine.
we're
forgiveness.
celebrating.
Right.
Here, have a glass of wine, honey. We're celebrating." And she goes, "What are we celebrating? What are we?" She knew the gig was up. She goes,
yeah.
"I said, well, we just bought Prejean." Boom, waterworks. It was not good.
We just
Yeah, she's like, she was overwhelmed, COVID, because she was doing all the paperwork for the PPP, and she's just overwhelmed with government. I don't do paperwork. I don't get into that box. I'll work 100. I'll make every piece of, do everything.
Oh, so
I don't-
you're the chaos and she's the spreadsheets. Got it.
100%.
Okay.
100%. 100%.
It takes spreadsheets to make it all work.
Exactly.
It really does.
She's my compliance officer. She keeps me in that lane, right?
There we go.
So she's like, I can't do it anymore. I'm like, don't worry about it. I got this. Don't worry about it. So we get in the project and we're going along, and then my son's hugely active in it. He's my partner in it, and the grandchildren are coming out, and I'm like, it became cool. The project became cool.
Wow.
And then she's like, and then her paperwork diminished because COVID was waning.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Thank goodness.
I'll do this, yeah. But we outsource some of it. Usually do the payrolls in-house. So we've taken it back in-house. We outsource payroll. We outsource some stuff to take a lot off her plate.
We want to thank our sponsor, our Chef's Table sponsor, Ounce of Hope. If you know Colin Bercier, local Lafayette guy, he wanted to help out his mom, and the result is this amazing company. He opened it out of Tennessee, but he ships all over the place. It's a really, really great product. Anybody that's looking for an alternative to wine, actually. Really, really tasty products. And he's got a lot of flavors out there. We've got a couple of them up here. Y'all check them out. They're really, really tasty. It's a nice alternative for anybody that's sober curious.
I love the product. I had it at a pool party recently, and I took half of that product, and it was just a perfect relaxation. And I still was chatty. I didn't shut down like I do with maybe too much of a gummy. So stoner approved.
Oh, stoner approved. There we go.
There we go.
Good deal. Good deal. Have you had a chance to try it out
Yeah,
yet?
we sell them at Marcello. So I have.
Oh, you?
But they're like my kryptonite. I'm a high energy guy.
Yeah.
So when I have one, I shut down. But look,
Yeah.
sleep has been rough with this injury because I can't.
Oh,
I'm
I
a side
bet.
sleeper and I can't. A little THC and I
Yeah.
do good. So yeah.
Very good.
Good
Yeah.
relaxation.
Right,
Well,
exactly.
I definitely want to come back to the whole Marcello's thing.
Oh, we will.
But
For
before
sure.
we jump over to that, where were we? We're talking about COVID.
we were just
and
talking
you had a lot
about-
going on.
We were just talking about he had bought Prejean's right before COVID, right? Or
It was
or
towards
during-
the back half of COVID.
Toward the back half of COVID,
Right.
and we know what that was like about
Oh, gosh,
about that
yeah.
same time as starting a Foodies group.
Right.
But
Life
anyway,
change.
I've done a little research, and you rallied to help other businesses with workshops of how to keep your restaurant open during COVID.
Correct. We held workshops in conjunction with the contractor and in the restaurant itself on how to keep it open, how to sanitize properly. It was the wild west. It was we didn't
Absolutely.
know. So we went and brought experts in and they said do this, this, to this. I'm like, let's go. We didn't have much guidance for all we have from the government was you can't do this. They didn't tell you what you could do.
Right.
So we usually when the government throws up a roadblock, there's always a trail around it. We kind of finding those trails. We were full disclosure. I was using my patio before they okayed me to use my patio. A lot of we give first responders half price when they're on duty, and they were coming in and they had nowhere else to go, and they're sitting on the patio. There was
clean
it was
air.
all self-service.
I mean,
We didn't service.
Yeah.
Sure.
But sanitation ideas. Distancing, social distancing.
Sure.
Before they had tape every 6 feet. We actually pulled a bunch of that. Guys, don't get greedy. Pull a bunch of your chairs out of your restaurant. Spread them out. When we got
a
to
little
open back
common
up.
sense goes a long way, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We pulled them out because still to this day, our to-go business has kept that increase from COVID. So a lot
Right.
of people still not. They just got used to picking it up and taking it home.
Oh,
and
I'll be the first
they
to
still
tell
do
you,
it.
I got
But you did
spoiled.
that
I'm
before.
guilty of
Sure.
it.
You
It's
did
so,
a
it's so
pizza
easy.
you could bake at home.
Take
take and bake,
That-
yeah.
That's what changed the whole dynamics for me. So I am not a sit-home guy, and it's like you got to close your restaurants. But in the fine print, you can sell your product in a grocery store. And I'm like, okay, hold my beer. So we went to New First, Blaine, good friend of ours, worked well with him. Like, Blaine, I want to sell my pizzas in your, I'm going to leave I want to keep all my workers working. I don't want to lose my workers. I love my staff. So I'm going to pay them to come in and fold pizza boxes and to shrink wrap pizzas and half-baked pizzas. And I paid the
That's so
same
good
staff.
of
They
you to
wipe
do
the table.
that.
Every day they would come in, the service $20 an hour, and just re-wipe the table. I want them to still come to work, still make a paycheck, not go looking for a job, and not get out of
Yeah.
the workforce.
That's how
That
you
was a
keep
big
good
problem.
people.
Right.
It's good
So
business.
we did that, and then Blaine took them on, and we went from pizzas to ranch dressing to.
Oh, that ranch dressing.
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
right.
Yeah.
What about the ranch?
so
And then we
good.
had like 30 grocery stores online and more calling. I'm like, I found a new income stream
Yeah.
here. This is amazing. Our biggest problem during COVID was not sales; it was production.
How to
I
keep
couldn't
up with
buy a
demand.
supply chain. I couldn't. I bought
Oh,
every,
wow,
I
yeah.
bought every pizza box in the state.
Wow.
I bought my competitors' pizza boxes that couldn't buy them, folded them inside out, and put a Dinos sticker on top of them. And we were selling take and bakes in the
Wow.
store. So I bought every slice of pepperoni in a tri-state area. In fact,
That's strange times for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. So we were just me and my son, and we got two big F-250s, and we were driving pieces, delivering them, and just humping and bumping. And then the state steps in and it's like, you can't do that anymore. Like, why can't I do it anymore? It's like, well, we don't think it's safe. Well, it was safe during a pandemic, but you can't argue with government. I'm like, okay, I have to stop. So we looked at it as a business model, maybe opening a plant and doing take and bakes in the store, but the demand went away.
So there's no more taking
There's
bait.
no more demand. You have them. You come get them in the store, but no grocery store wants to stock them. The demand's not there.
Yeah,
We just,
it's a little
Sure.
bit different.
we just, we got a little lucky in timing. You have an opportunity.
So at that
you
point,
take
you
that
didn't
leap.
have to go to Dinos to get a Dinos
Yeah,
pizza.
right.
Yeah, you didn't have to go to Dinos. You could get it anyway. But that also gave me the confidence, like, hey, I really know what I'm doing in this business,
Yeah.
right? So when Bob was going back and forth with Prejean, I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So I get a little aggressive. We buy that,
Yeah.
Lo and behold, a year and a half later, I'm down in Broussard, Louisiana, looking for a Dino's location, really.
Oh.
And we go to Hook and Boil, which it was not Hook and Boil. It was first it was Hook and Boil, then it was Traps.
Yeah.
And we go in there, and they're trying to
I
sell
like
it.
Traps when they were business, yeah.
And I'm like,
Good guys.
this is the
too.
Prejean.
But-
To
yeah.
turn it, restaurants are restaurants, but a pizza restaurant's way different from a seafood restaurant. Kitchen-wide. Talking about
Oh, I
dollars for
bet.
hood space, and
Yeah.
we need a big prep area to produce our dough. And I'm like, this just doesn't. But boy, I could do Prejean here pretty easy. So I'm like, you know what? We're gonna open another Prejean.
Oh, awesome.
So we did, and in the interim, Mark Hebert, who had Hebert's Grocery in Henderson, bought the little piece in his strip center, bought the piece end cap next to him, and we sold so many pieces with him. He goes, we're opening a Dino's there. I'm like, okay. So in 2 weeks, we opened
I
two
was
restaurants.
wondering how that
Oh,
came
in
to
2
be.
weeks.
2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, I got the Midas touch. Let's go.
Yeah, that was a take and bake
I'm
spot
rolling.
for a while. Okay.
Yeah. And so just started making noise, and it's worked out, but it was a lot. It was a lot. It was, and then it got to be a little overwhelming. But I turned around, then we bought Marcello's. So.
Well,
You just can't
I
say
mean,
no, huh?
honestly, I'm pretty impressed because it seems like you're willing to take some risk.
Yeah,
It definitely seems
definitely.
like
I learned that
and
from my dad.
sometimes that
I learned that
pays
from my
off.
dad, driving, from California to.
And it
Yeah.
sounds like you know the rule that the best business plan is the exit plan. Like the best part of a business plan is an exit plan.
Right.
And so while not everything's been as successful, you've taken the risk, which is amazing.
Yeah. To see what I like the deals. I like the real estate involved deals. So if I took over a lease space and I put $500,000 in leasehold improvements and it doesn't work out, I walk away with zero, because I put that new air conditioner doesn't come with me. None of those
Yeah.
leasehold improvements, new roof doesn't come with me.
Right.
Sure.
It stays with the business, right? The landlord. So if I buy the property, I can sell it with a new air conditioner and a new
Right,
roof.
right.
So you take a haircut versus getting scalped.
It's
Absolutely,
good
and
business.
that's true today.
But it's a bigger risk.
Yeah.
It adds. You add another decimal point when you go into real estate these days.
I do see some other restaurant owners planning to build, planning to have their own real
Right,
estate,
right.
which I think is huge if they're able
Especially
to
if
do
you're
that.
young, it's the long term. Now, I'm getting a little older, but again, I have 2 generations behind me that are pushing me. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, come on, Big Daddy, you got to do this.
You
for
don't see an
us."
end yet, right? You're not about to retire yet, are you?
I'll never retire.
Not done yet.
I love what I do. So
He's too busy wrestling
So-
crocodiles.
So I get to do things like this. I get to talk to people, tell my story. I like that. I've grown to love it. I didn't used to be kind of a shy kid. Now
I
I'll
cannot
talk
even
to anybody,
imagine.
right?
I
Yeah,
cannot
yeah.
imagine.
Well,
No, so I got stories to tell, and I'm happy to share them with people.
All right,
awesome.
I want a story.
Okay,
I want
all
a
right,
story.
all
All
right.
right. So first, I want to tell you thank you so much for Prejean's. Okay, and that's just a local girl. I've got 2 little kids, and I've got to have a place to teach them how to dance and
There we go.
two-step.
There we go.
And so the fact that you have kind of taken this place and handed it back to the locals, I really, really appreciate that in so many ways. It's a way to make memories for the next generation.
sure.
Not
Yes,
just
it
your
is.
next
Yeah.
generation,
No, right,
but
right.
all of ours.
Correct,
So that's a
correct.
big deal. That's a really big deal. But one thing that I want to make sure that we get across to everybody, because part of the reason that I wanted to do this is the behind the scenes, right?
Right.
And a lot of what you do is behind the scenes, and you
most
don't
of it.
advertise much of it.
No, we're quiet about a lot of it.
One of the projects that you have every year is this backpack project. So can you tell us a little bit about that? That's
So
coming up here recently.
That's Dustin and Jolie Poirier's project,
Yeah.
really. Myself and Karen sit on the board, and we help them. We facilitate them with a warehouse to store the the supplies and set up the backpacks, and then we help them the day of, and we give away pizzas. But every year we go to Service Chevrolet, and we give away about 1,500 backpacks. And in these backpacks is everything kid needs. And when my kid went to school, when I went to school, the supplies were there. You didn't.
Yeah.
You showed up.
Right.
You might have to have a pencil or, and a
But
no,
now
and
that
a
notebook
notebook.
is long.
Oh my gosh, now it's a whole lot.
Now you got to bring your
Yes.
Kleenex, sanitizer,
Paper
earbuds,
towels,
paper
notebooks,
A calculator,
markers,
ruler,
all the
everything.
things.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
sticky
So-
notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So these backpacks we buy in bulk, but they're still $150, $175
Yeah, it's
bucks
still a cost.
a piece, and we're doing 1,500 of them. And then we give them away, first come, first serve. It'll be early August. Forgive me, I don't have the date. We'll get it. I know next week we're packing them.
Yeah.
Next week we're packing them, and
That's
we
amazing.
get them ready.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, that's Dustin and Jolie for their Good Fight Foundation, and they love to give back, and such humble people. I'll
Yeah.
tell you a Dustin Poirier story. I bought Prejean right after I bought it. Dustin's in there, and we're in the Poirier room. It used to be I forget what Bob called it. It was another private dining room. We're in the Poirier room so we can converse. There's about 8 of us. We want to have a conversation. Dustin's in the main dining room. Sometimes a lot of people come in and they want pictures and autographs.
Sure.
And I get it. And they can do that on in and out. We're in the Poirier room, and Dustin just looking around. And he goes, man, I have so many memories of this place. He's a Karen Crow boy,
Yeah.
I have so many memories of this place, for graduations, everything.
Yeah.
We came to Prejean's. This was the place. I'm like, cool. He goes, I can't believe I'm sitting here with the owner. I'm like, dude, I'm sitting here with Dustin Poirier. What are you talking about? What are you talking? You got a Bud Light commercial that someone's dreams came true about.
Yeah,
hanging
that's
out with
amazing.
Dustin Poirier, man.
That's amazing.
And that's just how humble Dustin is,
Yeah.
and Jolie as well. Just
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful people giving back.
And I
I think
a
that's
lot
what
of
bonds
fighters
us.
are like that.
Yeah. I think that's what bonds us. We're both. I mean, I can be his dad. Everybody, the UFC thinks I'm his dad, right? So we don't, like, they listen to rap music, I listen to Led Zeppelin. A lot of things we're not on the same page, but like giving back to the community, helping Deano, Louisiana, be a better.
I mean, that's one of the things that makes our area special, I think,
It
is
It
our
is.
people have a tendency to come together and
Oh,
find
absolutely.
a reason, look for reasons to do
100%.
that.
Yeah, we can disagree. We can disagree on other stuff. We tend to look past it, and then we sit down and break bread. We sit down and eat. And food
Exactly.
transcends
That's
everything.
it.
Like,
Exactly.
hey, I don't care who you voted for. Pass me some more gumbo.
Yeah, that's it.
We can
that's what
definitely
the
be divided,
food-
but let a flood come through
exactly,
here
man.
and see
we're
what
all,
happens.
Yeah,
You
we're all
know,
going to
it's gonna be
agree on
different.
good food, and
Yeah.
It brings everybody together. It really
But
does.
with Dustin, you have you're doing something with Marcello's now.
Marcello, Dustin's an investor and a partner in Marcello. It's kind of tricky how we work that out. But that Marcello's the wine shop on Johnson Street, not the
Yeah.
restaurant. Jody Ferguson
Yeah.
has that, does a great job with it. That's great, but that's not. We ended up
Right,
because you know why we bought the wine shop instead? The real estate was involved. So
Oh, the real estate was involved.
Okay,
Exactly.
You know,
okay.
we've used that wine many times for Sunday dinner. So we pull off a Sunday dinner every month, and it's multi-course. We invite people from the community, and a lot of times Spencer would help us out. Is Spencer still over there?
No, Spencer's not, but we
Oh.
have Jake's there now. He's
Yeah.
Spencer's mentor, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah,
Just let us know. We
it's
can
good.
make it happen.
I
So,
appreciate that.
Yeah.
and you got some good stuff
Yeah.
over there,
Yeah, we
too.
still we've got a beautiful tasting room over there. We've changed it. We're trying to break. It was in the '80s. It was stuck hard in the '80s when we bought it, and we're changing that, moving around a little
Look
bit.
and feel a little bit.
Yeah.
We
You have
actually got a
bourbon
POS
tasting?
system. They had old cash registers,
Oh,
and-
gosh.
Yeah, they were still doing the 4% surcharge. We got rid of all that. So yeah.
What about you're doing a bourbon tasting?
We do
Yeah,
bourbon
is
tasting.
that
We had one.
regular?
We had one last Thursday. I call it business of bourbon.
Okay.
So I go there and I host. I usually bring like an allocated bottle. It's like a bottle share / but we also had a vendor there with like 8 bourbons.
Oh, yum.
And
Oh,
then
that's fun.
some guys show up, like a bottle share event or whatever. You could break into subgroups. So I had a great E.H. Taylor, the single barrel, the hard one to get. We were sharing that. I got another guy that actually works for me at Dinos South. He takes Blanton's and puts it in a honey barrel. So he cures a barrel with honey, okay, and then rinses it out with what he calls sheep bourbon, which I drink all bourbon.
You
Then
don't
he puts-
discriminate.
He puts Blanton's or Eagle Rare, depending on which one, and lets it sit for about 2 weeks, and then pours it back out. Then you have all the notes of the
Interesting.
Blanton's,
Oh, wow.
But just a little slightly sweeter.
Okay.
So it's pretty. They're
Good
interesting. You can come
stuff.
by. They're Thursdays. The next one will be the fourth Thursday of July. It'll be the week after the fight.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the fight. You know, but we network. So we've done some business deals there. So the guy
Nice.
doing the old fashioned, he just bought it. He has the hardware company. He just bought from Alex Saison the old fashioned and the cherry.
Oh.
Yeah. So we
Oh,
he came to the
okay.
first. He came to the first one. And we're
Really?
networking. Then we have an event at Prejean and bring all his products in. So we're drinking bourbon. We're talking business.
Yeah.
I have young people showing up trying to get inspired on how do I
Right.
where do
absolutely.
I start?
Absolutely.
Where do I start? I'm like, man.
That's the hard part.
It is so tough these days. It is so tough these days. Restaurant business, no bank's going to loan a first-time restaurateur
Right.
millions of dollars to build a restaurant. It
No.
ain't happening. It ain't happening. They'll loan me a little bit of money because I've got a track record.
Right.
And you've
But-
got real estate.
Right. You know,
Yeah,
real estate-
yeah, that matters,
real estate's
that
involved.
matters.
But if I'm just opening a restaurant, you know, and it's so expensive these days. You know, money's
It
expensive
is.
right now.
It is.
Beating.
You know, labor, everything's so you have to find an opportunity and then jump at it, but don't.
I think
Excuse my
that's
French.
key.
Don't half-ass it. If you're
Yeah,
going to do
all in.
something, you leave your soul. If you fail, you better leave your soul on the table. And I tried everything I could, not walking away. Well, if I would have done this, maybe. If you're going to do that, don't even get into it.
Right.
Just work for somebody else. So.
You know, the quality. That's one of the things that we spend so much time talking about.
Right.
And I always attribute it to my grandmother because she would always say that it only costs a little bit more to go first class.
Right.
And at the time when I was a child, I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll just pay a little bit more. And, the older
That's
I've gotten, the
not
more I've
just- yeah.
realized it's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so much more than that. It doesn't have to be money.
No.
It's effort. It's all of the
It's
things.
the little
is.
things. You got to notice
It
the
is.
little things.
And
Yeah.
it's
Go on.
it's business owners like you that are willing to put forth that much love and passion and effort, not just into your own business, but into your community. I mean,
sure.
the fact that the fact that you're building up the future of our community and the future business owners means that we're going to have a sustainable culinary epicenter.
Exactly.
So we're going to continue to
some,
eat well.
Some
Thank
people
you.
look here, and I'm looking at the front.
Yeah.
The vision is never to make as much money this year as I can. The vision is, again, this is why we're going to go 4 generations. It's always been a vision of sustainability.
Yep.
That's why the menus
make it
always
better.
change. It's why we always remodel. It's why we stick to trends. It's why we travel to food shows. We go to Vegas. We go to Chicago. We go to these food shows and pick up on the trends and sit in seminars that we're in Vegas, and my people are like, oh, we're going to Vegas. I bring managers. Oh, man, we're going to Vegas. I'm like, yeah, but you're going to sit in a
We want to
seminar.
go to Vegas.
Yeah.
You're going to sit in a seminar, and we're bringing something back because, I'm paying you right now. You're working, and I enjoy it, and then but they also buy into it. So if we're going to make a policy change or how we interview people, which we learned in Vegas, they became part of them. So I'm not like shoving things down their throat. So if that makes
Have you ever thought about franchising Dinos?
We're doing what we call a licensing agreement. That's kind of what Henderson is, a licensing agreement.
That's a drive-through?
Yes, it's an express unit, we want to call it.
Okay.
We wanted to hit the small towns. We're having trouble with the state. We need some legislation. I'm letting the legislators get up on the big stuff before we do to make that a viable enterprise. It has to do with the proportion of alcohol and food you sell.
Okay.
And it's how the ATC interprets it. And I don't want to get too
Sure,
into
sure.
that.
No, no.
It's a,
Because,
yeah.
It's the nuts and
for-
bolts of things. But,
Correct.
But you
correct.
do
So-
have maybe an idea to franchise a Dinos.
Yes. My big idea would be,
What's that?
I'd love to put one at the Gold Nugget in Lake Charles. Okay.
All right, Golden Nugget.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Golden Nugget, we're calling on you.
So here's the deal. You got Fertitta that owns it, right? And he's like the king of restaurants in the United States, right? So I want to show him what I could do. They don't have pizza there.
No.
I want to show him what I could do. And I want him to say, Metcalf, let me take this thing and run with it. Because I'm 63 now. So he runs with it, and I get my 2% or whatever it is, okay? I save the Louisiana region for my son and grandson. We keep it, and he runs nationwide. And
We're going to be at the grand opening, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're going to be right there at the grand opening.
Yeah.
I need
I
to-
want to hold the scissors.
I've had meetings with his son. but we will probably had one too many alcoholic beverages.
Those are where the best deals are done. If you want me to say yes, you just give me drinking. I will say yes to anything.
I don't think his son was the one that could say
they could say yes.
But I need to follow up on that. But yeah, I would love to put one there, and just go big and hard.
Yeah.
With it, it's because we do really well in the pizza bits.
Yeah.
Our numbers are like good. They're good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love this story. I love
Absolutely.
it. You know, and I didn't know a lot of it, so I really love it. Thank you so much for being here today with us. Anything to add?
No, I think
you covered it all.
Come see us, yeah.
Hey,
definitely.
I always like to say, come see me. I'll change your life for the better. So, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, after Wild Crocodile.
All right, man. See you later, alligator.
So thank you all for joining us today. With Tim Metcalf. What a story, what a legacy for Lafayette, and it's not done, so I can't wait to see.
Not even close.
We want to thank our sponsors, Ounce of Hope.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Colin. You give us a way to provide everybody else with an ounce of hope, and we appreciate that so, so much. Thank you.
Absolutely, and I'd like to thank Logic Refrigeration HVAC. Seth, thank you so much for believing in Foodies of Lafayette. Thank you for being such a big player in the community with Community Fridge and
supporting our restaurants.
And supporting our restaurants in a big way. So if you need refrigeration, if you need HVAC and you're a restaurant, contact Logic. Seth will hook you up.
You can contact me and I'll put you on the Seth. So
there you go.
I got you.
There you go. And
He'll
thank you, Sundays, for this beautiful spot.
Beautiful venue. It's nice.
Absolutely gorgeous.
And Chris
we love it.
Logan, media.
Thanks,
You're such
Chris.
a great director. He tells me what to do, where to sit, all of that. Thank you, Chris.
Make sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. And thanks again to Ounce of Hope. Use code FOODIES at ounceofhope.com for 10% off your online order. Until next time, let's eat.